Hi, I'm Dr. Shaun Holt. I'm an adjunct professor at Victoria University of Wellington and a former director of P3 Research. I've been in clinical trials for many years now and have been the principal investigator in over 50 clinical trials, one of which was the clinical trial of the legflow device. This is a medical device that has been developed by Professor Richard Beasley of the Medical Research Institute of New Zealand. P3 Research, my former company, undertake phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials for the pharmaceutical industry, and the trials for the legflow device were undertaken to provide accurate and independent clinical data. The published research paper was called A Cohort Feasibility Study of the Legflow for Sedentary Adults in an Office Environment, and this was published by Professor Richard Beasley and his team at the Medical Research Institute. The clinical trial itself was a cohort study of a sample of adult office workers, and these were classified as sedentary according to the Australia-New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations criteria. The study assessed participants' pre-existing risk factors for VTE, reported and measured sitting patterns in the sedentary workplace, qualitative feedback on the legflow itself, and its possible utility in the setting of prolonged sitting while at work and during long-haul flights. The legflow device itself is a small piece of medical equipment that sits on the floor under a desk, but differs in that instead of being flat on top, it has two separate round domes, each large enough to accommodate the plantar of the user's foot. Its use improves lower limb hemodynamics in the popliteal vein by about 11 times in adults seated in office chairs by active plantar flexion of the foot and consequent increased venous flow in the calf. In the study, participants were each given a legflow and were shown how to use it. They were asked to place the middle of their feet on each dome shape and then to point their toes down to the floor over 3 or 4 seconds and then to pull their heels down to the floor over a similar period of time, ensuring they were actively stretching their calves for a total of 1 minute. The key findings of the clinical trial were that 91% of those involved in the trial rated the legflow as very or quite easy to use, and 2/3 indicated that they would be very likely to use the legflow at work regularly in the future. 3/4 indicated that they would be very likely to use it during long-distance air travel. And so this study showed that the legflow device is a feasible tool for reducing the risk of venothromboembolism in sedentary office workers and possibly also in long-haul flights. I'm very pleased that RBR Active have taken on this groundbreaking product and are developing the commercial properties of this clinically researched and clinically trialled medical device. The RBR legflow is an important development in terms of work, leisure and travelling, and to be associated with the clinical trials has been very rewarding for me.